how are you? Today we are going to be making cherry pie filling, and every group is making a different type of filling. So this is a cooked fruit, and that's why we chose it, and it's really, really, really good. In catering, if you were to take that class, you would actually get to make these and sell them, and it's a really fun process. So when you do this, your table is going to make the cherry pie, and then you're actually going to be sharing it with everybody. So I'm going to show you on your induction burner. You're going to turn it on to low, and we are using frozen cherries. You can use fresh cherries. We like the frozen cherries because we can buy them in bulk and it's less work. So when you buy cherries, if you've ever had them before, they come with pits in them. So the pits have been removed, so that's why we choose to use these, because it would be a lot more work if you bought fresh, because you have to remove all the cherries. So the first thing you're going to do is put the cherries in there. To that, you are going to add, you're going to cover your saucepan, and you're just going to kind of let them melt. We'll be right back. All right, so we're back. So the reason why I put the lid on is because I wanted the cherries to defrost and get juicy. So you can see that juice. All right, so to that, we are going to add 1.5 cups of granulated sugar. And this is going to help start making like a thick glaze. So you can make pie filling. You can do a cooked, we chose cherry, but essentially you could do apple, pear, and it's a very similar process with whatever fruit you choose. It's just it's going to be a different amounts of sugar. And we'll be right back. So now I'm going to add in the cornstarch, which is going to help thicken it. And in the recipe it says to combine the cornstarch with the sugar. So I am doing it this way, but we would like that you combine it in a bowl before. But it will be fine the way I'm doing it right now. I just need to mix it a little bit more. The reason why you want to combine the sugar with the cornstarch first is you don't want clumps of the cornstarch. Okay. So now what you're going to do is you're going to let it cook, and this is going to get a deep, deep red color. Right now it's a very super saturated solution, so you have to cook down all of that sugar. So we'll be right back. All right, so we are back, and if you take a look, the cherry fruit mixture is very rich red color. Also, it's the right thickness. You can see that it coats the back of the spoon. You can see so it's perfect. Now this is going to continue to thicken up as it cools, and then when you assemble your pie, you're actually going to be dotting with butter. The last ingredient that we're going to add to this that adds flavor is almond extract. And if you ever smell almond extract, it almost smells like maraschino cherries, and it just gives an extra aftertaste. And we add it right at the end just to add the flavor. You don't add it at the beginning or all that extract will cook off. So you add it right at the end. And then you are going to put this into a baggie and then in an ice bath, because this is piping hot. And then you will assemble your pie on day 2. We'll see you when we assemble.
Day 2 of cherry pies. Cherry pies is one of my favorite all-time pies. It's just a great summer pie. It's sweet, it's tart, it's fresh. Okay, cherry pie is a 2-crust pie. And you can do a variety of things with the top crust. You can, do your own designs. However, traditionally, cherry pies have a lattice top, and so that's what I'm going to demonstrate for you today. So we are making a smaller mini pie just for the sake of the demonstration. You will be making a full-size pie. So what you will do is you would take your whole ball of dough and cut it in half, and half is for the bottom and half is for your lattice top. All right? We have cut them down since we are using tart pans. All right, so you have your dough chilled and it's in a ball. And then you should get 2 pieces of wax paper, and this is how I learned. Different people do it different ways. They actually sell towels that are made just for this. I just think the wax paper is about as easy as it comes. Okay, so you flour it, and then I just dump the extra flour over there and flour this side. All right, life is good, right? All right, so you take your pie dough here, and the better the shape of a sphere it is, the better it will roll for you. So I'm going to put it, and I'm going to flatten it into a disc. All right? And then you flip this piece over. All right. So we need to roll it about 1.5 inches bigger than this, turned upside down. So it's gonna have to kind of come out here. So I'm going to start in the middle and push, and then I'm just going to keep turning so that we can preserve the circle shape of our dough. If you just sit here like this, you're going to get a rectangle, which doesn't do us much good. And again, you're not going to have a perfect circle, but you need to be in the ballpark. Okay. Now, if you notice, I'm not rolling off the edges. I'm stopping because otherwise your edges will become paper thin and they will just simply tear. So I always stop when I get to the edge. So I'm going to lay this here and see where I'm at. Well, I need more just about everywhere. So I'm going to keep rolling. Now I'm going to look at it again, and I'm getting much closer. So I'm going to put just a little bit more on some of these edges. If you cheat it and you make it the diameter too small, then it's not going to hang over the pan when we flip it over. Okay? All right. Okay, we're pretty good here. All right, so to pick this up, you just peel off your wax paper, easy peasy, right? Now, we're gonna fold this in half and gently peel this back, and then we're going to fold it in a quarter again, or half again, and pick it up. Now, this is the middle of your pie, so you wanna get that near the middle of the pan. Okay, and we're going to just lay it down in there, and then we're going to pick up this other piece. Now, if you find, like, this room is very humid and warm, so you might want to spread a little flour on this before you fold it, and then it won't stick at all because this room is so warm. Now, you don't just press it down in there because this is elastic, and when it bakes, it'll go right back. So you're going to pick it up, and then you're going to drop it down in all the way around. And then I'm going to just kind of smooth it where there's, now, the tart pans are a little bit more upright than your traditional pie pans, so sometimes you get little bitty creases, and you just smooth those out, okay? All right, beautiful, that's exactly what we wanted, all right? So, we have this in the pie crust. So what we're going to do, and this is how I tell the students, we don't want to trim it even with the pan. So I tell them to put their fingers here and trim outside their fingers. So my fingers are up on the edge of the pan, and then we're going to trim on the outside edge of my fingers. So I'm just going to go around the whole pie. Okay, just kind of cleaning up some of the overage here on the outside of my fingers. And there might be places that you have a lot to trim, and like right here, I have almost none to trim. And all of that is fine. So if I flip it over, it's still bigger than the pie, and that's what you want. You want it bigger than the pie pan. Okay? Okay. Now, I've already rolled out my second crust. Now, if you're doing a top crust that covers the whole pie, it needs to be a circle. But I'm not. I'm showing you a lattice top, and so I just rolled it more into a rectangle. So I'm going to peel off this top piece, and I'm going to flour this just a little bit, okay? Again, that'll make it a little bit easier and less apt to stick in this hot, humid weather. Now, there's several ways to cut the lattice. One, you could use a pair of scissors, but it's not going to be real straight. I'm guessing most of you at home have a pizza cutter, and you can just start cutting your strips. Now you want them all the same size, so you would have to use some type of ruler or something to get them. They also make these little gadgets, which are like 6 pizza cutters together. You can make them wide or narrow, and we're making ours narrow, and then you tighten this wing nut here so they stay. And so you dip this in flour, okay, and then you just slice. Now they're all the exact same width. I'm dipping it again. And I just went in the same groove. All right, so they all end up the same. I'm not a big gadget person, but if you're going to make a lot of lattice top pies, I would definitely get one of these. They're only about $7 or $8. Okay, so our next step is to get some cherry pie filling into our pie crust. And again, we made enough for a full pie, but we're making a tart. Okay. And this will finish thickening up when it bakes. I'm going to try to get more cherries than juice here since I have a lot of juice in there. There we go. All right, that's about all she wrote. Okay, and what I think I'm going to do, okay, we have our cherry pie filling in here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to dot it with some butter. All right. And again, this is not there's nothing scientific precise about this. We just want to dot it with some butter, and that's going to add to the richness of the pie. Okay. And we'll do another little piece right over here. That's a big piece. All right, so there we go. And we'll put another one here because those who know me know I can be a little OCD. Okay? All right, now we're going to start the lattice. Now, students who have done a lot of these pies, when you get to catering, you will make a couple of these pies for the Thanksgiving pie sale, and you will become a pro at this. You'll get a system down where you can just rock. Boom, 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 boom. So I'm going to lay the first one across the center, and you want them to hang over, okay? And then we lay the next one this way, all right? Now we're going to fold this one back. And don't worry, we'll move the butter back. Okay? And it's a lot of folding. Okay? Okay. Now we're going to fold this one back. And sometimes if you're tag teaming with someone, you can fly through this. Now if you notice, I'm leaving the space between them about equal to the width of the strip. Okay, so now we are going to flip again, and sometimes I even have to think about this one. I'm going to flip this one. Okay, so you see this one goes over, under, over. Okay, so the next one has to be under this one. So this one gets flipped. Okay. All right, and we can put one more over here, so I'm going to flip this one. And now we have to go the other way. So this one goes over, okay, right here. So we flip this one and this one. Now we put these back. And we flip the alternates. And this will be the last piece on this side. All right, so I think you're getting the idea here. So over, under, over, under. This one has to go under. Okay, so this one gets flipped. And this one gets flipped. And this one gets flipped. Just going to lay this right here, and now we're done with that side. Okay, there's our pie. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take your scissors and just kind of trim these close to the other pie crust. Doesn't have to be exact. It's like giving it a haircut. And aren't you glad I'm not the one cutting your hair? All right, so we're gonna move this, get all these out of here. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to fold this together and make a real thick shelf, I'll call it, or pie crust here on top. So you just roll it together and then set it on top of the pie pan. Nothing should be wrapping around the pie pan. So I'll be right back when this is done. As you see, we have rolled the crust under. You should see the pie pan under here. If any crust got rolled around it, you'll never get it out of your pan because you're actually baking the pan into the pie. So it needs to sit on top. So the last stage is to do what's called flute. Now you could take a fork around the edge and flute it, and it's kind of it's a very quick way of fluting, but it's not a very pretty way, and we want things to look nice for presentation. So the way I flute the pie is I press with my index finger and I squeeze with the other two, and you just go around, squeeze and pinch all the way around. Okay, and there's your fluted pie. Now, some recipes just tell you to sprinkle some sugar on top, and some recipes have you do an egg wash with some sugar. So I will, I'm going to make an egg wash real quick, and I'll be right back. I'm going to show you how to make an egg wash, super easy. The egg wash is going to help the sugar stick to the pie, and it's going to give your pie crust this beautiful golden flavor as it bakes. So what we need is the egg white. And we only need one because this pie is really small. We won't even use all of this. Okay. All right. Now, I think an egg wash works better with a little bit of water. And when I mean a little bit, I mean like a teaspoon. So I'm just going to put a little bit of water in here, about a teaspoon. And I'm going to mix this up with the egg white. And that helps it spread a little bit better. And I'm going to spread it on with a pastry brush. I'm going to get the pastry brush nice and wet. Okay? And I'm just going to very gently, don't press hard or you'll ruin your whole fluted edge. Okay. And I'm really just tapping it on more, and I'm getting cherry pie filling all over the top of the pie, so everybody will know it's cherry, won't they? Okay, so to avoid that, you would have had to put it on a little bit neater than I did. Okay, and now you take some sugar, and you can use sanding sugar for this as well, which is larger grain sugar. Okay, and then what you're going to do with your pie is you're going to put it in a preheated oven that is 375, and a full-size pie takes almost 50 minutes to bake. In our convection ovens, maybe 40. All right, but they do take longer to bake than you would think. All right, okay, enjoy. Here's our cherry pie. It has come out of the oven, and our fluted edge, everything's held its shape, and it is ready to serve. One thing you can do with cherry pie is serve it a la mode, which means you put it on a plate with some vanilla, you heat it up in the microwave, and then put some vanilla ice cream on it, and it is absolutely scrumptious.